turn provides heat for this oven.
So that's your regular oven.
Heats the oven. Then you borrow heat for this water reservoir from this flow that comes up like this, and then eventually it circles back and goes out this pipe.
This is a great piece. Now this is huge. I know that they couldn't have taken these out to all the stores, so show us the salesman sample and tell us how they got the stoves into the stores.
Well, good. This answers a lot of questions.
Right.
Some people want to know, well, how did this get moved about by a salesman? So they made this little stove. This is made to scale. It represents the large model that would have been sold. So the salesman carried this around with him, and it has everything in working order, even little lids. And it had the features, and the store owner, whoever was buying the stove, could see the details and the quality of the manufacturer. So this is truly a salesman sample, and it has weight.
Now this looks like a children's toy, but obviously it's not. But you've got some children's ovens over here as well.
Right. These, it's easy to see the difference. This is much lighter, it's smaller, and would have been used as a gift to a child. And a child, in this particular stove, it's evidence that someone had built a fire in here.
So you actually could.
It's a working model. Wasn't intended that way, but it's a working model.
Now this is one of the smallest pieces in your collection. Show us one of the biggest over here. Now what was this used for?
Well, the biggest piece in the way of cooking devices is this cauldron. And this cauldron weighs about 150, 175 pounds.
Goodness.
And it was a multi-use thing. They would use it to make like cracklings, to boil the hog skins in, to get the grease of the lard. It was also used in some cases like in the making of sugar. The sugar cane juice would be put in there and boiled. So it was a multi-purpose kettle, and it represents what would have been on a larger farm.
This is a great piece. You have so many in the collection. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Well, just very pleased to.
Back to you guys in New York.
You get the feeling that guy can cook?
I get that feeling.
Yeah.
Like to be there for some dinner time, John?
Absolutely. I can burn water. Boy, I'd like to be at his house for dinner.
I can cook. I'm not sure about some of those utensils.
Yeah, right?
You have to explain how you use them.
Exactly.
That's all. But we're cooking here at Personal FX with lots of appraisals coming your way in just a moment. Welcome back to Personal FX. We've got some wonderful items up for sale today, and let's get to today's recap. Starting out with the milk glass candlesticks from 1930s, worth about $25 to $35 is the button and bows pattern. And then we have a coin book. It's an uncirculated set. It is in below mint condition. There are 20 coins there, worth $200. For those of you who are wind-up toy fans, this is a neat car from the 1930s. It's a roadster. It's an old crank toy. Now, it's not working, but it's very easy to restore and valued at $250. There is a Bud vase that is carnival glass. It could be from about the 50s through the 70s. It's a twig design and appraised at $75 to $125. We have a decorative chess set, and we know it's made of plastic resin pieces from the 1940s, hand-carved, and worth $125 to $150. For Stein collectors, there's a German Stein from post-World War I. It's a regimental Stein, highly collectible, and valued at $250 to $350. We have a dancing figurine, which is from around 1915. It is a talking machine toy. Isn't it incredible? It dances on top of a record while it plays, and worth $350 to $400. There is a soap powder container. It is part of a canister set. It's original condition, turn of the century, worth $25. And then there's the advertising box from the 1960s or 70s. It's black and white whiskey, and you plug it in, and the dogs pop up, and they bark. $200 to $250. And then there's a candy dish, hand-painted, European, pre-1921, $35 to $50. So, I think there's something for everybody today. If you'd like to bid, 212-802-0082. Email us at www.fxcable.com. And Judith, I think Tim brought in a great item here.
Something for everybody, something for me.
Yes, hi for you. Hi, Tim.
Hi, how are
This
you?
looks like so much fun. Please tell us about it.
Well, my uncle passed away a few years ago, and I found this in the house, and ever since then I just cleaned it up a little bit and played with it a few times.
Figured out how it works. It's called 5-Start Final.
Yes, and here's how it works.
A pinball machine. keep
It's sort of a
on going
pinball
around.
machine, except you don't have flippers. You see, you get the balls to go into holes, and they score. This is from a general classification of toys called bagatelle games.
Can you tilt it like a pinball machine? Or that's
No,
not
that's
allowed?
one of the good things about it. It won't tilt. In other words,
Okay.
you can do stuff to it, but it won't. It's not like the electric machines.
How
where you
old
can-
is this game?
This is probably from the 1960s, so it's fairly recent, but it's an awful lot of fun. And it's called 5-Star Final, and you can see I'm really bad at it because I haven't got any kind of a score here.
How much were these games when they first came out?
Oh, I would say probably about $35 when they first came out, and they're an awful lot of fun. They're a cousin to the pachinko machine, which has all those little metal balls rolling around the Japanese machine. This one's probably American-made. Nice wooden cabinet, and it's in great working order.
It is in great working
Yeah.
order. I like it. So what do you think? You're going to put it up for sale?
Sure.
Somebody out there might want to play.
Would you like an appraisal on it, though?
Yes, I would.
It's probably about $125, which is way more than it was worth when it was first made.
125. That's
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah, you
But it's
think-
still
you think
good
that's
value.
low, huh?
I don't know. When I see something like this at some of these stores in New York City, they have a higher value on certain things. $125 is a good deal, and it's going up for sale.
Okay.
Right? All right. Let's go out to Port Allen, Louisiana, and check out an item that Bobby would like to have appraised.
I inherited these glasses from my aunt. She got them as a premium out of washing powder called Dove detergent in the 40s and the 50s, and I am interested in taking bids on them.
Is that Does detergent?
Yes, does soap powder. Although these are made by the Libby's company, they're a fairly well-known set, and you could at the time get them by sending in a box top to Libby's. There's their mark down there, and they'd send them to you. Probably some of them also came in a box of Does, but my guess is because they were glass, you probably mailed a coupon or a box top from Does, and then they shipped it to you packed in a corrugated box with a set.
So there were a lot of them out there at that time.
Yes, it's fairly common, really indicative of the early half of this century, you know, and not highly collectible, but I think that they're popular. If you're looking for a certain vintage look in your home, you certainly want something like this.
And there are certainly people who collect that kind of vintage look.
Yes, and you have water tumblers and juice glasses here, so you kind of have a set. I think there's about 14 pieces.
And worth about how much?
Probably $30, $35 for the set.
Okay, in that price range. Going up for sale. All right, John, what have you got next to offer?
Oh, you ought to see this. Jeffrey has stopped by. Hi, Jeffrey. How you doing?
Hi.
What do you got here? Tell us what you got.
My grandmother found 2 pictures in the garbage, in the trash can against the wall, of 2 pictures of birds and their feathers in them.
Those are real feathers.
Yeah.
Is that- All right. Do we know what kind of birds those are?
No.
They're having bad hair days, whatever they
Really
are.
bad feather days. let
Feather
me tell
days,
you.
yeah.
I think they're kind of fantasy birds. And
Oh,
these are
really?
kind of fun. Yeah, they're really parrot feathers and macaws and all that sort of thing, all put together on this black paper with some painting. Actually, it's kind of like a precursor to the black velvet paintings that have come out in flocking.
All right.
Sort of precedes that. It's sort of a beginning to it. Very, very popular. These have been popular since the turn of the century through the 1920s. They kind of peaked. And then again, by the 50s and 60s, they were started to fall out. Trouble is, there's a lot of them on the market. They fall into what is generically and euphemistically called motel art, where these are mass-produced and sold to be put in hotels and motels.
Real motel art.
Exactly.
All
It's
right.
like the airbrush paintings from Turner and Company. They also did these. They were just very affordable, inexpensive pieces. This is from the 1920s, and we can see that in the back just by the tag here from New York. It does have a very 1920s, distinct 1920s style of lettering and the coloration. So that puts it in time and its meaning.
Well, I got a problem here. You're telling me it's a fantasy bird, but those are real feathers.
They're real feathers, and I guess these could be kind of like macaws or parrots, but they don't look like any real birds to me. Somebody's just having a little poetic license here.
All
a little
right.
fun.
All right, so what do you think then?
Again, they're common, so they're fairly affordable. These run about $35 each, so you're looking at about between $50 and $70 for the pair.
And if you have a motel, you might pay a little bit more.
Or if you want to start a whole aviary, you can get a bunch. There
All
you
right.
go.
Do you want to take some bids? What do you think?
Sure.
All right, we'll take bids. We'll let you know. Thank you, sir, for bringing those by.
Cool.
Appreciate that. All right, let's go back out to Port Allen, Louisiana, where Sue has brought something to be appraised. Let's take a look.
Hi, I have this set of depression glass dishes that my husband's grandmother collected about 65 years ago. There's no markings on any of them that I can find, and I'm not willing to take bids.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's American Sweetheart is the pattern, Depression-era glassware. It's all pressed glass colored from the 1920s and 30s and 40s. This was put out in the mid-30s. This is one of the most popular patterns. Very, very pretty etch work in here, press work rather, made in pinks and greens and yellows. The most rare and hardest to find, the most desirable, are in rubies and cobalts. Unfortunately, this pattern is being mass-produced out of Japan and Taiwan, and right here in this country, a lot of the molds have been purchased by some of the other companies, and they're making them today. There are books out every single year, 2-3 books come out, updating the finds, the new repros, and the new values, so you can track these from year to year, almost from month to month, if you're a serious collector.
Sounds like you probably need to as well.
You really do need to. Something like this, if she can validate that they have been indeed in the family for 60-plus years, that would make them more authentic. But even with all that, this is still a fairly high-priced set. The dinner plates are now going in the $20 range, the bowls in the $20 range. Some of these covered covered bowls and pourers and pitchers get very, very pricey. The set we're looking at here, I'm going to air that it is authentic. I'd say it's worth around $250, $300.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. And Sue is not taking bids in case you didn't catch that. All right. Fires, floods, burglaries. These are the things that can destroy a collection. When Personal FX returns, we'll meet an insurance agent who can protect us against collection killers.
We want you to be our guest. Join us in the FX apartment and have an item appraised. All you have to do is give us a call at 1-800-FX-FX-FX1.
Welcome back to Personal FX. So it's taking you years and thousands of dollars to amass your collection. Well, how much money are you willing to spend to protect that collection? Tony Bucci is here today. He's an insurance agent with International Collectibles Insurance, and he's here to sell us on the idea of collectibles insurance. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us today.
Thanks.
Now, lots of people have homeowners insurance. They have apartment insurance.
Right.
So they're probably wondering, why do they need collectibles insurance? How is it any different?
Well, there's accidental breakage, there's appreciated value, there's worldwide protection that homeowners insurance doesn't have.
Okay, so it covers you if you break the item?
Right. If you accidentally break it, it's covered.
So if I were to spend some money for this and accidentally it lands on the floor, it's covered. What if I spend $1,000 for this, it goes up in value, you say appreciated value?
Right. So as the piece appreciates over a period of time, the proper insurance would cover that. Homeowners wouldn't. That's the reason why you need the special insurance.
And the most common collectible killer is?
Accidental breakage, for sure.
It's interesting, earlier in the week, we went on a house call. It's an insurance house call with Tony, as you were visiting somebody who has an Oriental porcelain collection. And let's take a look at the house call.
Come in.
Thank you. What was the main reason, your main concern for purchasing the insurance?
Theft. That we live in a very isolated area out here. And we were afraid that, someone might break in. But also, we have 8 grandchildren, and they can be very disastrous when it comes to porcelain.
The insurance covers accidental breakage, earthquake and floods included, if we have any windstorms, lightning, and if you're over in Europe and you pick up a piece, it's automatically insured as you fly it home. This insurance will change with the value of your collection. So for example, as your pieces appreciate, the pieces individually will be insured up to the market value.
Great.
These are all things not covered by your homeowner's insurance. We designed this policy to be unique for this. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Collectibles insurance. So the grandkids break an item, all you do is call your insurance agent and say, my grandkid dropped this?
Well, there is a deductible involved, but yes, it's covered, especially with breakables, and that's one of the specialties that I personally get involved with.
Now, how does it work in terms of appreciated value? Do you have to show the value of it, have it appraised, the item appraised?
We don't need to have it appraised, but you need, at the time of a claim, you need to be able to prove the value through, say, whatever the market is bearing at that time, through appraisers or published lists.
And you need pictures and videotapes of the item?
It's not necessary.
No, really?
Well, at the period of time when the claim occurs, you will need information, but it would be helpful. If you didn't have it, they would take a complete description by an appraiser that was backed by an appraiser.
If an item is worth more than, let's say, $5,000, do you deal with that a little bit differently than items?
We do. In that situation, we wouldn't need an appraisal for this particular program.
Let's say I'm adding to my elephant collection here, and I keep on adding to my elephant collection. How do I work the insurance?
It's very easy. Just in our situation with our company, just give us a call. We can easily add it onto the policy.
How does it work in terms of, I know one pays for homeowner insurance, or if you put a rider on your claim for a particular item. How does it work as far as collectibles insurance?
Well, this is a separate policy, a separate program, and you'd have a separate policy that wouldn't have anything to do with your homeowners or any other kind of insurance. So it would be separate. It costs about $75 per $15,000 of value.
For $15,000, so if everything on this table is worth about $15,000, it's only going to cost me $75 for the year?
Per year, right.
Per
Exactly.
year. And then I have to update every year in terms of appreciated value?
That's up to you. We leave that up to you. The limit is at $15,000, so if you feel that your collection grows in value, you're going to need to
I got to tell you, to be very truthful, this sounds so good. I think I wanted to sign up. But why, I mean, do most people, do they resist the idea when they hear about it?
It's an education process.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit different than homeowners insurance. It requires special attention in certain areas to understand that you have something. Insurance is like the last on the list for most people to think of.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
And we also want to thank Rachel Granger from Marion, Massachusetts, for allowing us to visit with her on the Insurance House Call. And John, it sounds like something worth checking out.
It is. It may be the last thing on your mind now, but it'll be one of the first things on your mind probably when a disaster strikes. So that's really good information.
Even when you knock something over and
That's
go,
right.
ouch.
That's right. Well, a ring from Russia, a Dickens mug, or a space watch. Which one is worth the most? I'm going Space Watch. Going Space Watch. Here's Susie Anderson with today's Mailbag Minute.
Jay Penny of Las Vegas, Nevada, you have a German porcelain figural lamp from the 1920s and worth $100. Marissa Correa of Mount Pleasant, Texas, your garage sale find is a Francoma commemorative plate. Its value is $40. Alma Darling of Polston, Montana, your 14-karat Russian sapphire ring will be wrapped around a collector's finger for $175. Marion Norwood of Corpus Christi, Texas, your Weller Dickens mug is worth a jolly $200. Anthony Drongowski of Jackson, Michigan, you have a Bulova Accutron Space View watch that is 14-karat gold. It's out of this world at $600. Helen Stevens of Silver Lake, Washington, you have a 1925 Toast Caddy by Noritake. I'm not loafing around when I tell you it's worth $70. Hello, Kathy Niemers of Marshall, Minnesota. Your 5-composition and wax German angels are worth $700. And that's a Mailbag Minute.
The watch. I got it right by more than double. I could praise. Maybe not. Stick around. When Personal FX returns, we've got those all-important big bids. Don't go anywhere. Very impressive.
Very bits here.
Oh, I suppose you want to do the big bids now, don't you? Welcome back to Personal FX. Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. Dana with the milk glass candlesticks. Anita from Plantation, Florida has offered you $75.
Sold.
Oh. Francis with the coin book. Sherwood from Jackson, Wisconsin has offered you $304.
Sold.
Sold. Sean with the wind-up toy car. Mark from Billings, Montana has offered you $550.
I'll think about it.
Nice reaction.
Karen with the Bud vase. Anthony from New Orleans, Louisiana has offered you $185.
I'll think about it.
All right. Dane with the chess set. Philip from Yonkers, New York has offered you $85.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Okay, you do that. And Gail, for your dancing figure, Thelma from Costa Mesa, California, are you ready? Is offering you $586.50.
I'll think about it.
Debbie, for that soap powder container, we have an online bid from Dina from Palo Alto, California, for $48.52.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Thinking going on. Mike, for your advertising box, Mary from Miami, Florida, would like it for $400.
Think about it.
All right.
And Marge, for the candy dish, we have an offer from Linda from Turlock, California, for $127.50.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Lots of thinking today.
A lot of thinking. All right, on Monday's Personal FX, we are going to be out in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and we're going to see a super collection of vintage license plates. And while we're at it, we're going to look at the vintage Buicks, too.
Ooh,
So
they
that
look
should be
nice.
great. Yeah, we got 2 collections on Monday.
And
we'll
I
see.
don't have to think about thanking John Bruno and Judith Katz-Schwartz for doing a good job, as always. Thank you, guys. Thanks to all of you in the department. It's been a pleasure to have you here. And to all of you at home, make the most of your weekend, and we look forward to seeing you back here on Monday.
So long, everybody.